Hello everybody out there on YouTube. It is I, James, once again. And here I have my Marx Christmas train consist. It's not the entire thing because, simply put, the clockwork consist can really only consist of 4 cars. That's just how much this thing can pull on its own. But of course I can hear all of you screaming in the chat, James, how did you get a red Marx Commodore Vanderbilt? They're so rare. Especially in mint condition, and yours looks like it's in semi-decent condition. Well, I hate to break it to you, but this one used to be black. And before half of you lose your mind and say I repainted the only Marx Commodore Vanderbilt I have, here's my other one right here. As fine as it can be. Still waiting on that new motor to get shipped in, so don't worry, I'll have a video of it running soon. But yeah, when I got this thing, I got it for $8 off of eBay. It was in just absolutely appalling condition. You can still see part of the original black paint underneath. The motor was in real crummy condition too, still is a little bit, but I cleaned it as best I could. And I actually had to re-epoxy the wheels back on because the axle, the driving axle here, when I turned the engine on after I wound it up, it would spin, but the wheels wouldn't move. In fact, I'd found that this thing had been so worn that the wheels literally just came off. So I had to pull all of them off with the exception of this one. This is the only one that I didn't have to do that to. And I had to re-epoxy all of them back on and repaint them. And I added side rods to it. It did have the holes for side rods, however the actual rods themselves have long since broken off. So I grabbed some from a spare motor and I put them on, and they worked just fine. And I did originally want to paint this thing silver, but I settled on red because I thought it would be more of a Christmassy-esque color. And of course I painted the headlamp and the dome a sort of copper sort of color, whereas the smokestack I painted gold. And for some odd reason, apparently red Commodore Vanderbilts are rare, and I subconsciously repainted this one to look just like it. And I didn't even remember that till long after I repainted it. But yeah, so there's the engine. It actually does work now. There was one problem with this engine when I got it. The governor, that little tiny wheel thing down here, was essentially destroyed. I had to rip it out in order for the engine to function. So now, whenever the thing moves around, it sounds like it has a mini V8 engine in it because of how fast it goes. In fact, I may have unintentionally created the world's fastest wind-up locomotive. Because if I just let it run by itself, it will fly off the corners. Even on a big layout with large corners, this thing still has trouble staying on. It keeps on flying off. But yeah, so there's that. Now, onto the tender. So this is the tender. This is the second New York Central streamlined-esque tender I have. This one having the special lining done on it. Now, it was black, plain and simple. It didn't have wheels, but I added some that I had as spares, and I painted the bottom portion gold, and then I painted the top part green because, you know, red and green, Christmas colors. And it does have one coupling on it, right at the front. It doesn't have one at the back, but, you know, you can always get around having that with Marx trains, so there's that. Now, of course, here's the 2 gondolas. This one has the Christmas decorations and a present in it. They are all plastic, so if I were to drop this, they wouldn't break, which is just fine and dandy. And, of course, we have a bag of coal. It's actually cinnamon candy I got from Target a few weeks ago. Smells actually pretty decent. Nice cinnamony smell. And of course I have a 556 New York Central caboose to go on it. And it's in really nice condition. It's one of my better cabooses. So, completes the whole train. And also these 2 cars, red and green. Red and green. Well, this one's more of a blue, but it's got white on it. So, yeah. And yeah, I'll give this engine a quick spin, so yeah, let's see it in action. Now let's hear that little mini V8 in there. So yeah, Merry Christmas everybody. Hope you all enjoyed.